Hey everybody, I just wanted to show you my latest project. As you can tell, this is a Contemptor pattern Dreadnaught from Forge World. Now the project obviously wasn't painting him. As you can see, he's not painted. But my project was to see if I could articulate him, because I really like the fact that they started to make their models with the ball and socket joints, but I thought it would be really cool if there was a way to actually make those joints functional, so you're not stuck with your model in one position. So here's my my first attempt at it, and overall I think it came out pretty well. Now, as you can see, outwardly there's not much changed here. You may notice the ball joints in the crotch area there are shiny. That's because I chopped off the plastic pieces and put in 1/4-inch ball bearings, steel ball bearings, and then there's a magnet within the, I guess you call it the cod piece there, and I'll show you that in a second. But what I ended up with is a model where you can interchange any of the weapons on either arm, and I think in total, I counted up, there's 14 points of articulation on this, so it's pretty much fully articulated. And just to give you some ideas here, the 14 points are the feet, the knees, the hips, the rotating piece there. You get some tilt up here, the two arms, the two weapons will go side to side and then also up and down. And really, I wouldn't say this is practical to do with all your minis, but this is more or less just a, hey, let's see if I could do it type of a project. With the cost of the magnets and stuff, it probably wouldn't make sense to do this to a lot, but if there's a particular model you have that you want to do something different with, this might be an idea. Because what you can do here is, like, you know, you have your normal stance, or you could even do something where you could have them down on maybe one knee, firing, if I can get them here. Like I said, this is my first attempt, so some of the things aren't as maybe tight as I'd want them to be, but you know, you can do a lot of different things here. Like I said, you can rotate the guns back and forth, up and down, the shoulders, so there's a lot of different poses or something you could do with this if you wanted to. So let me show you kind of what I've done here. Just pull off all the different parts here, and we'll start from the bottom. Now the feet, again, you can go back and forth. There's a little play backwards and forwards, and I'll just take these legs off. So there's the ball joint there, and just a magnet. Now the way I did this with the ball joints was, and what really gave me the idea is I was looking online at some different types of magnets, and I came across these here. They're magnets with a bevel, and it's 1/4 inch at the top, and I think it ends up at an 1/8 inch in the middle. And what that allows you to do is you can actually make a ball joint. If you have a 1/4 inch sized ball bearing, it goes right in there, and since these are powerful magnets, it gives you a pretty solid grip. Because the one thing I was concerned about was, you know, if you put this ball in there, will it actually hold the position? And sure enough, it does, because those what are they called, the neodymium magnets, the really powerful ones. So because the resin is not very heavy, it'll actually hold the weight pretty well in its different poses. So on the feet, what I did was, let me pop this foot off, I actually put a ball bearing inside there because there wasn't really enough material to put in one of the beveled magnets, which would have been the ideal. Put the bevel magnet in there and then the ball bearing on the actual foot, but there really wasn't enough material, and it would have come through the side if I tried to open that up some. So I kind of reversed to put the ball bearing inside the leg, and then just drilled down into the foot, dropped a magnet in there, and that gives you some limited back and forth, forwards and backwards. Now on the knees, these were probably the most challenging part, because what it ended up using here was, I don't remember the size of the magnet off the top of my head, but you'll see the magnet inside there, and I actually had to drill a hole and make sure it was straight so it didn't come through the sides, which is kind of nerve-wracking when you're doing something like this, because as you know, the Forge World models are not inexpensive, so one slip up and totally screw up your purchase. So that you have to take a lot of care if this is something you're going to do. And there's actually 2 of them in there, and the reason I did it this way is because I was trying to think of a way to get it so the knee would still bend, using magnets, and there wasn't a simple way to do it. So what I ended up doing was putting the magnets in here sideways and putting 2 smaller magnets in here. And again, you have to be careful with the polarity, make sure everything matches up, and because these are strong magnets and there's just thin resin in between them, it holds pretty good, and it gives you the play you need in the knee. And I think, as I already showed you on the hip area here, I actually ended up, this was another tricky one, because I had to drill out the hole that's there because it wasn't big enough for the beveled magnets. And again, this is a one-shot deal. If you screw this up, you're really going to be in trouble, so you got to be really careful with this. I ended up using a drill press because that would keep it centered, because you couldn't just open up the existing hole there. You had to go a little off center just so you didn't cut into the front of the resin. So if you do this, just be very careful, and because again, screw this piece up, your whole model's done. So there's 1 on each side, and those are obviously super glued in there, which is a little tricky because when these magnets are back to back, they actually repel. So had to glue one in, wait till it dried really good, then put the other one in, and really hold it in place until the glue dried with a clamp so that they didn't push each other out. And as you can see, that gives you the motion in the legs here. Let me hold the camera down a little bit. So that gives you all the range of motion you would need. So again, you could have it where if you want to have him standing with his foot up on something, you could do that. And then moving up the model to the next piece was, I'm not quite sure what this piece is. It's right above. I guess it's the torso, I guess you'd call it. And this is just 2 magnets here, to give you the back and forth motion. And on top, I put the ball, the steel ball, and inside the actual chest piece I put another one of the beveled magnets. And I probably could have put this a little further forward to give a better range of motion, because right now it's kind of limited on, let me just hold this piece here. Gives you a little back and forth and forwards and backwards, but not a lot. So I guess ideally it would have given you a full range left and right, but again, with that other piece at the bottom, that gives you that there. So let me zoom in a little bit here. And then moving up on the shoulders, drilled out, put magnets in the shoulder area there. And on these pieces here, the shoulder pads, I shaved that down, just sanded that down flat so it had a flat surface. Again, ideally here, maybe put a ball joint, but the magnet was almost the exact same size as the existing piece there, so that would have taken away too much material. I'm sure there's different sizes of those beveled magnets, and maybe if I had smaller ones I would have used those, but just using what I had, and again, this being a first attempt, I just use a flat magnet there, and that gives the up and down rotation. And then for the gun mount, the hard point for the gun mount, I put in a smaller magnet in the middle there, and each of the weapons comes with a let me show you what it actually looks like. This is the piece that it comes with, and just a plastic piece that the weapons slot into, and you would glue them. So on here there's a magnet, so it'll stick onto the shoulder pad, but then I took off the plastic round piece and put in a round magnet, and the purpose of that was so you could have interchangeable weapons. Put that in, and again this will give you the shoulder gives you up and down, the hard point gives you left and right, and on the weapons here's the assault cannon. There's just a, I don't know if you can see it in there, it's just a small piece of sheet metal on the inside of that there, and for the magnet, so when this slots on it just holds it in place. So now you have your left, right, your up, down, however you want to do it. So you got a full range of motion on the gun there. The backpack I just blue tacked on. This isn't fully together yet. Same thing with the head, it's just sitting in there. So I did the same thing with the right arm as well, all the same things. And with this I got the I actually got two of these when I picked it up, so I have and I picked up all the different weapon options as well. So right now you've got the dual bolter, the assault cannon, these delayed las cannons, plasma, and of course the fist. Again, these are all interchangeable, so you know, whatever, for game purposes, if you want to outfit it differently. And again, if you've seen any of my other videos, you know I'm very much a proponent of doing things that give you all the options, so you're not stuck with just one. And so again, these are all the same. All these pieces have the, you can see it a little better on the hand here. Let's see if I can get the focus. There's a little square sheet metal just stuck inside the arm there, and you can just swap these off as desired. So you know, you can outfit it any which way you want. So you have all the different options available to you, no matter what your you know, whether you're doing a diorama or actually using it for a game. So again, the whole test on this was, again, not to be practical, because again I'd have to run up the cost on the magnets, but again I'm sure that probably with the cost of the Forge World model on top of the magnets, you know, it's probably not something you do if you're tight on money. But I think one of the big things you could take away from this is if you pick up a couple of these beveled magnets and the 1/4 inch steel bearings, you can actually do this with you know, even if you just put it in for, say on this model, for the hip joints, and maybe for the, you know, put the torso in there, you'd get some good maneuverability. You know, you wouldn't have to do the knees and feet and all that. Again, that was just seeing if it could be done. And just because you can do something doesn't mean you need to do something. So this was probably overboard for anything you'd want to do, but hopefully you'll see with all the different areas I showed you that, you know, you have a lot of capabilities. I think the most important thing I would, if I, you know, when I do another one of these, I'll probably just do maybe the arms again, just to keep that ability to swap out the weapons, you know, fully magnetize it and get the motion there, and then at a minimum maybe do the hip joints there and the torso. But otherwise, I think everything else, you know, it's totally up to you. You know, what you're looking to do. But again, as I said, it's a lot of magnets, and you know, those magnets aren't the cheapest, so you probably wouldn't want to, you know, go too crazy with your model. And again, I think overall, looking back on everything, I think it's the only part I'm not really happy with, and I'll probably do some more research, see if I come up with a better way to do it, would be these knee joints, because they're not as tight as the other ones. They will hold positions fairly well, but I think it could be there must be a better way to do that. But again, once you have a position, it's a little tricky sometimes getting them in the position you want. You know, you can't. He does hold it well. So there's that aspect of it that came out pretty good. So overall, I'm pleased with the way this came out, and just wanted to show everybody, you know, what some of the things you can do are, and if you have any questions, let me know. I'd be happy to answer them. Hopefully this gives some other people some ideas and motivates you guys to find some things you can do with your models. I guess the next part here will be to paint this up. This will be a Crimson Fist Dreadnaught, obviously to go with the rest of my Crimson Fist army, and have some ideas on him where I might do some different weathering. Typically I don't do too much weathering on my models. If you've seen in my others, I kind of like the clean look, but this one, being that this is such an ancient Dreadnaught, when you look at the fluff, you had to assume at some point he was Imperial Fist before he became before it was Crimson Fist. So I was thinking of doing some things where, you know, you'd have the blue paint, but maybe some of the old Imperial Fist yellow showing through in spots where it's worn through or been damaged. You know, you can do a lot of the weathering where you kind of show the steel showing through, but I was thinking on this one maybe have it where some places it's worn away and you maybe see a little bit of the yellow shining through, but I'll have to see. But anyway, that'll be a different video. For this one I just wanted to show you the articulation, and hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you haven't, like I said, if you have any comments or questions, throw them down below. I'd be happy to answer what I can. And if I think about it, I will put a link to the place where you can get these magnets. And I'll probably get some more smaller bevel magnets, because again, some of these are just too big to use on your standard sized dreadnoughts or other models. And again, this can be taken to any model, not just dreadnoughts. I mean, if you think about it, you know, I'm sure there's things you can do on tanks, on you know, just any other model you have. I mean, it's really kind of endless possibilities, you know, kind of whatever you can imagine. So hopefully, you know, you guys will take this, and I'd like to see what other people come up with, and hopefully we can you know, as a community, see what comes out of it. But anyway, hope you like it. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and hit the like button if you like what you see, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.